Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So, this is a little bit late, but today we are going to play Becca's BookOpOlyAthon because I really want to take part, and depending on how long this video is, I might even participate in the Magical Readathon put on by G from Book Roast. I will link Becca from Becca and the Books and G from Book Roast down below so you can go check out their channels because they are amazing creators. And I really want to support both of them. So late TBR for Becca's BookOpOlyAthon and possibly the Magical Readathon. I hope Magical Readathon, but it's been a while since I looked at the prompts, so I don't even remember. I do have my TBR for this month sitting right here, so that hopefully I can find some of the prompts from this over here. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so roll number 1. Oh my goodness. I forgot to mention that I was gonna take 6 turns, but if you get doubles, you have to take an extra turn. So I'm already up to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my goodness, I got a mood read. Our first roll landed us on a mood read. For this one, I'm probably just going to pick a book that's already on my TBR or maybe my buddy read or something. But I'm going to leave my buddy or my mood read open. I can pick anything I want at any point in the month. Alright, roll number 2. There we go. Oh my gosh. Another double. So that means we're up to 8 books. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 1, 2. History. So like a historical fiction or maybe a non-fiction. For roll number 2, we landed on history, and Becca kind of said that you can interpret these prompts any way that you like. She originally wrote history for like historical fiction or read about a historical event that took place. So I kind of interpreted history as like an alternate history book. So for that, for history, I'm reading The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Cora is a slave on a cotton plantation in Georgia. Life is hell for all the slaves, but especially bad for Cora, an outcast even among her fellow Africans. She's coming into womanhood where even greater pain awaits. When Caesar, a recent arrival from Virginia, tells her about the Underground Railroad, they decide to take a terrifying risk and escape. Matters do not go as planned. Cora kills a young white boy who tries to capture her. Though they manage to find a station and head north, they are being hunted. And Whitehead's ingenious concept, the Underground Railroad, is no mere metaphor. Engineers and conductors operate a secret network of tracks and tunnels beneath the southern soil. Okay, so roll 3 of 8. Oh, thank goodness, no more doubles. So it's a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, okay, so it's like a buzzword. Night, day, afternoon, evening, dark, light. So a time of day. buzzword. I like that one. For turn number 3, we landed on time of day buzzword. And going into this, I thought it would be really easy to find like day or night or sunrise or midnight or something, like anything with the time of day in the title. I literally have one option for this. Yet again, this one wasn't on my original TBR, so well, I'm just adding extra awesome stuff for me. So I'm going to be reading Girls Night Out by Liz Fenton and Lisa Stank. This is about these 3 women who go on this girls trip, and one of them doesn't come back to the hotel one night, so the other 2 go to look for her, and that's the setup of the story. Alright, roll number 4 is yet another double. So what, 9 books now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, of course. And we landed on big book, which means a book over 500 pages. Okay, so our 4th roll landed us on a big book, and I finally got one from my original TBR to put on here, because this book is 700, almost 700 pages, so I'm not picking another big book, but we are going to read Strangers by Dina Coots, mostly because it's already on my TBR, so I'm going to make this as easy as possible for myself. They were strangers, a handful of people from different backgrounds living in different towns and cities across America. They had nothing in common. They have nothing in common. They were victims, cold and stark, and unknown terror gripped their dreams and turned their days into living nightmares. Roll number 5. Oh my goodness. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, a TBR vet. Roll number 5 landed us on TBR vet. I really wanted to try to use the books that are on my TBR already, but they haven't been on my TBR for over a year, and I feel like a TBR vet has to be on your TBR for at least a year for it to be called a vet. So, I'm pretty sure I've had this book over a year, but it might be, it's somewhere close to a year. So we are going to be reading Nightwood by Patricia Windsor, and I got this book from Amanda, like, I want to say about a year ago, and I really want to read it, but I don't know what's been stopping me. This is a week at the cabin's never been so terrifying, so these kids skip the DC trip their school is going on, and by kids, I mean like teenagers from any young adult novel, because they're still kids. But they skip out on the school trip to go party in this cabin in the middle of nowhere. No one knows where they went, and then they start dying one by one. Alright, roll number 6 is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gods. Okay, for roll number 6, is it roll number 6? I think it's roll number 6. We landed on a book that has gods as the main character, or like a religious book, or something like that. I don't read a lot of books centered around religion, so this one was very hard, but I'm kind of interpreting this prompt. I don't think it's really stretching it that much, but for Gods is the main character, I'm going to read Stithe by Neil Schusterman. Bonus points because this is one of Becca's favorites. She recommends this book. But this is like this dystopian where the world has been cured of hunger and disease and war and misery. Humanity has conquered all of that stuff. So it's supposed to be like a utopia, but because those don't exist, it's a dystopian. But one could say that dystopians don't really exist either. So maybe, you know, anyways. Maybe there's more to having everything be peaceful and, you know, nothing wrong in the world. Maybe there's more to it that you don't know, and I'm kind of scared of this one because I'm not sure I'm going to like it, but at the same time, I know it's so hyped, and it's one that I would eventually want to read, so I guess eventually is now. Alright, roll number 7? Yeah, roll number 7. It's an 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, current events. Okay, so the next one that we landed on is current events, and I think that this counts. Well, I'm counting. I'm counting My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. This was already on my TBR. It's an arc that came out at the end of August, so I'm not that late on reading it. Knock on wood. But this has a lot of different current events or events that happened in history. I mean, I feel like it's still a problem today. But this is about these people taking away Native American land and taking their small town and turning it into this mega big resort, which is very accurate in our world, unfortunately. It's also about like tourists going missing and about just the mistreatment of Native Americans, and I think that it's a problem in the world that has been a problem for years, but it's still relevant today. Okay, we're gonna move this over a little bit like that, and then roll number 8 is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Steal a book. Okay, roll number 8. We landed on steal a book. So for that, you're just supposed to watch someone else's TBR or maybe ask your friends what they're going to be reading this month and read that book too. So that one is yet to be determined. We are finally on our last roll. Oh my goodness, this TBR is out of control. I think I jinxed it. Do you see that? That's another double. So if it were my game, because it wasn't part of the original rules, I wouldn't have to take another turn. But because this is Becca's BookOpOlyAthon, we get yet another turn. So let's move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. LGBTQ plus. Roll number 9. We landed on LGBT rep, and I didn't have any already on my TBR, so I'm picking Symptoms of Being Human by Jeff Garvin. And by I didn't have any on my TBR, I meant for the month, not in general. I had a few options, and this one just sounded really good. So I've never heard anyone ever talk about this, but I found this in June when I read Felix Ever After. Barnes & Noble was having a buy one, get one half off sale. So I got Felix Ever After and this one. And I just didn't get around to reading Symptoms of Being Human. So I'll just read what it says. The first thing you're going to want to know about me is, am I a boy or am I a girl? Riley is many things. Punk rock, snarky, rebellious, and gender fluid. Some days Riley identifies as a boy, and others as a girl, but Riley isn't exactly out yet. And between starting a new school and having a congressman father running for re-election, the pressure, media and otherwise, is building up in Riley's so-called normal life. On the advice of a therapist, Riley starts an anonymous blog to vent those pent-up feelings and tell the truth of what it's really like to be a gender-fluid teen. But just as Riley's starting to settle in at school, even developing feelings for a mysterious outcast, the blog goes viral, and an unnamed commenter threatens to expose Riley's real identity, and Riley must make a choice. Walk away from what the blog has created, a lifeline, new friends, a cause to believe in, or stand up, come out, and risk everything. Okay, this is our last roll now. Oh, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another TBR vet. Okay. Oh my gosh, finally our game is over. So for book number 10 on this TBR, I am cheating a little bit. So the prompt is TBR vet, and I am picking a book that I've already read, but it has been on my radar for over a year. I read it over a year ago for the first time. So I'm saying it counts, because I really need to get a book that's already on my TBR on here. Picking Final Girls by Riley Sager, because this is my buddy read with Heather from Bell's Library. I'll link her channel down below, just like I'll link Becca's channel from Becca and the Books, because this is her readathon. So yeah, I know it's kind of cheating because I've read it already, but I don't care. Give me a couple minutes and I might be picking a Magical Readathon TBR too. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through my TBR for the Magical Readathon that's being hosted by G from Book Roast, which I will also link her channel down below. You only have to read 2 prompts, so I'm not going to read all of these for this readathon. However, I could not pick the 2 prompts that I want to fulfill, so I thought if I picked a book for every single prompt, that I could just read whatever I wanted from that list. So, the first one I'm probably not going to read. I can almost guarantee you that I won't. But the first one is the Novice Path Entrance. Read a book with a map. I only had one book with a map in it that I could find. I didn't go through all my books though. But this is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. So She's pretty big for one thing, and for another, it is a sci-fi fantasy, which is kind of weird because I don't like fantasy and I don't like sci-fi, but put them together and I typically love it. Like Renegades. This one is about this girl named Paige in the year 2059, who is working in the criminal underworld of Skyline, London. Her job is to scout for information by breaking into people's minds. For Paige, is a dreamwalker, a rare kind of clairvoyant, and under Skyline law, she commits treason simply by breathing. Ashturn Tree, it's a book that's been tempting you, or that's on the top of your TBR. For that, I'm picking The Flight Attendant by Beaujolain. I got this in July when I passed my boards to become a teacher. I passed. So I celebrated, and oh wait, no, that was in August. Well, the video came up in August, but I kind of found out in July. My bad. But when I found out, I went on a book buying hunt, and I bought a few books that I wanted, and this was one of them. It sounds so good. It's a thriller about this flight attendant who wakes up in Dubai with a dead body next to her in bed, and she was blackout drunk the night before, but she remembers meeting this guy, and she doesn't know what happened. So I'm assuming she says she's innocent, but she also can't be trusted because she can't remember. So, and The Mist of Solitude is read a standalone. That really could have been a lot of my books, but for this one I'm picking I'll Never Tell by Abigail Has, because this was already on my TBR for September, and I'm really excited for this book. I think that it's kind of inspired by the Amanda Knox case. Ruin of the Sky is the next one, which is like a book with a haunted house or with ghosts or something like that. I'm not 100% certain that this has ghosts in it, but I'm like 90% sure, so I'm going with it. And if it doesn't have ghosts, or it's not about a haunted like inn, then I'm sorry, but it's what I'm counting, and that is Green Glass House by Kate Milford. This is the middle grade. Obsidian Falls is to read a mystery or a thriller. For that, I'm going to pick Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Mansala. This is like a funny murder mystery in which this woman moves in with her aunt, or starts working at her aunt's restaurant to save the restaurant after a bad breakup, and this food critic, who just happens to be her ex-boyfriend, walks into the restaurant to try some of the food, where he drops dead. Everyone thinks that she killed him, but she starts her own investigation because she knows that she didn't kill him, or did she? Tower of Rumination is read a 5-star prediction. For that, I'm reading Something Happened to Allie Greenleaf by Haley Krishker. This is about Allie Greenleaf, who was raped at a party, and this is the aftermath of that. It's going to be very hard-hitting and very sad. I like the books that break my heart. Okay, and then Orleum Academy Arc is to read a book with a school setting. For that, I'm picking Symptoms of Being Human by Garvin. I already told you about this one, so we're done. But those are both the readathons that I want to participate in, even though it's a little bit late. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next one.